Greetings, friends. Welcome to today's devotion. It is Psalm 112. Praise the Lord. Happy are those who fear the Lord, who greatly delight in his commandments. Their descendants will be mighty in the land. The generation of the upright will be blessed. Wealth and riches are in their houses, and their righteousness endures forever. They rise in the darkness as a light for the upright. They are gracious, merciful, and righteous. It is well with those who deal generously and lend, who conduct their affairs with justice, for the righteous will never be moved. They will be remembered forever. They are not afraid of evil tidings. Their hearts are firm, secure in the Lord. Their hearts are steady. They will not be afraid. In the end, they will look in triumph on their foes. They have distributed freely. They have given to the poor. Their righteousness endures forever. Their horn is exalted in honor. The wicked see it and are angry. They gnash their teeth and melt away. The desire of the wicked comes to nothing. So, here's another hymn of praise, very similar to Psalm 111 from yesterday. This one differs a little bit in terms of the last one was a description of God and why he is worthy to be praised, and why the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. This one describes sort of the characteristics and the benefits of living a righteous life. It again starts with the happy are those who fear the Lord and who greatly delight in his commandments. Again, as I said in yesterday's devotion, it is a gift and a blessing that God gave commandments and instructions to the people of Israel on how to live their lives, to live a better life than the world of the people around them. And the descriptions of what the benefits are pretty much fills most of the 10 verses of this psalm. Talks about the descendants and the generations that will be blessed after the fact, and think about living a life, a faithful life to God, how that is an example to offspring and to grandchildren, and how that can inspire those, and think about the people in your life who maybe were examples for you. And that has an enduring quality to it, a long-lasting quality to it. Wealth and riches are in their houses, not necessarily a financial wealth, but a wealth of positive relationships, a wealth of peace and joy and happiness that go with that are priceless, that don't have value. There's plenty of rich people who aren't happy, and plenty of poor people who are those faithful to God. And again, the righteousness that endures forever. The righteousness that endures forever in the lives of those who learn from you. Talks about in verse 4 the characteristics of God of being gracious, merciful, and righteous, dealing generously and lending and conducting their affairs with justice, not cheating people. Excuse me. And then the righteous will never be moved, and they'll be remembered forever. And that is also true. Think about, again, the righteousness, the mercy, the grace that is true of God, that could also be true of us, and how that impacts the lives not just of family, of people that you come in contact with. And that is something that does endure forever. If one only strives for riches and wealth and power, and when that person dies, if they didn't make a positive impact on people's lives, personally touching their lives, there's no enduring quality of that. They may have monuments erected for them, they may have buildings that they built, whatever. And rich people can be, have fame well past their life. But if you've ever gone to a funeral and heard the people talking about someone who was very special, even yourself have done that, given a eulogy, about the way that somebody impacted your life, a family member, a friend, out of their generosity, their kindness, their compassion, their empathy, of always being there, of treating you fairly, of helping you to feel like you were loved and cared for and valued. That lives on in you, and then that gets passed down from person to person and person. So the impact is like that ripple effect, like when you throw a stone into a pond, how those ripples continue to go on forever, basically. And the next couple of verses about having a steady heart and not being afraid of evil tidings, staying in obedience with God, and trying to emulate the characteristics of Christ as much as we possibly can is what connects us more deeply with God, as I've said. And that is something that in a life that is filled with trials and challenges that we all face, that fear and the crippling anxiety may not impact us the way as it would if our relationship with God was only just casual. Distributing freely to the poor, again, a characteristic of God, and justice and the righteousness that endures forever, as I've already explained. And, as a bonus, it makes the bad people frustrated and angry when you treat someone who's treating you poorly with kindness and love. That's a good way to get revenge without actually getting revenge. But just thinking about why is it, why God gave these commandments and these laws, why God encourages us, or at least has somewhat of an expectation for us to live this way. Again, not because he likes to be bossy and see us do things in a way a parent would say, because I told you so, but because it's a better way for us to live our lives. God's not going to instruct us on how to live our lives for his benefit, just for his sake. He gave his son for us, and would he not want us to have the best possible life? If he's willing to give that much for us, would he not also be willing to give us instruction and ideas about how we can live our lives? And that does, in fact, witness to the rest of the world. In verse 4, they rise up in darkness as a light for the upright. We become that light for the world. So God does benefit from us, from it, but that's not his motivation necessarily. It is for us to live a better life, and naturally as a byproduct of that, other people see in us the grace and the mercy and the righteousness that is ours from Jesus Christ. It is countercultural. It is something that is very different than the values and the ethics of this world. But again, God would not instruct us to live a way that is countercultural if it weren't going to be the better possible life for us to live. It just takes time and practice and a little bit of effort to get through that, and it's a lifelong journey. You're on it now, and you're continuing to evolve and change. Think about what you were like when you were younger versus like what you are like now. What's important to you, what you value, and see that faith has not already made a difference in your life. So continue on that path and continue to live the best possible life in accordance to God's will. That's our devotion for today. Tomorrow, Psalm 113, another hymn of praise. Until then, be well.